Hey, I'm Diego.
I'm JT.
I'm Carlos, and we got producer San Ev over here on the levels.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to another episode of Bowl of Men. So today's episode, we're going to be covering summer 2020 anime, but we got to put a little asterisk on that title because some of these are technically spring anime, or they were scheduled to be spring anime, but because of Mr. COVID-19 san, they've been pushed back into the summer season.
And most of these pushed back to July.
Yeah, so there's that to look forward to. So yeah, like I said, they're summer anime asterisks. So on the list, we only have a few of them. We're not going over like a bunch of them, but these are some that like each of us is kind of hyped for. So I'm just gonna run down the list just because it's like, you know, it's a little list. We have season 2 of ReZero. Is it, Diego, season 3 or 4? It's 3, right? It's season 3, part 2 of Sword Art Online, Alicization War of Underworld.
World of War, yeah.
Then we have My Teen Romantic Comedy SNAFU, season 3. Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, or DanMachi? That's season 3 as well, I believe. And then Fire Force season 2, correct? Yep. Yes. So these are arguably some pretty fat animes. These are like they've got a large backing, I would say. Definitely on my watch list. I'm assuming y'all as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of go over like what we're anticipating and some of like the release dates that have been announced. Again, like they've been pushed back. But yeah, we just kind of wanted to go over these anime. Whenever I heard some of these got pushed back, I was sad and happy at the same time. For example, Comedy SNAFU, that one, it had been a pretty fat minute from when the second season was released to when they made any initial
4 years.
Yeah.
4-year gap between the two.
Yeah, I think it was even in the trailer, and they were like 4 years later. And yeah, so I'm pretty hyped. Like, again, it sucks that it's getting pushed back, but I mean, in the scope of 4 or 5 years, what's another few months? So I don't know. What do y'all want to start on? I think
let's start on Fire Force. Let's just kind of
Fire Force.
Yeah, let's kick that one off.
Sure.
All right.
So I did a little bit of research on Fire Force. For those of you who haven't seen it, quick overview of it. It's basically about this kid who joins a fire department-esque group. And essentially what they do is they fight fires, but the group themselves also have the ability to control fire. They're pyrokinetics.
Fight fire with fire.
Exactly. That's basically the whole sum of the anime.
Right.
So originally, actually not even originally, the anime was set to be released in July 2020 already. There was no delays for it.
So that one was no delay. That's
no
just
delays.
right out the gate.
Right out the gate. It's a summer anime. Nothing has been announced about it being delayed or anything like that. And at the same time, there's no specific date of like what day it's coming out in July. As far as we know, it's only coming out in July.
But it's a set date, July.
It's a set month, yeah.
Right.
A month window. So it's pretty cool. I think one of the biggest things that was interesting while I was kind of researching about it was Diego was telling me a little bit this beforehand. But the creator of Fire Force, his name is, I'm probably going to butcher this, Tsushi Okubo. He is the creator of Fire Force. He also created Soul Eater. I believe we talked about that in a previous episode. And so, essentially, he was talking about how, while he was creating Fire Force, a side note, Fire Force has a different name for the manga. Did you guys know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's called Fire Brigade of Flames.
Not as catchy.
No,
but
That's pretty cool,
whatever.
though.
No
I mean,
alliteration.
Yeah,
Pretty
right.
cool.
No, alliteration.
Well,
But it's a fire brigade.
Fire
Brigade of
Brigade.
Flames.
Still makes
of
sense.
flames.
Well,
Pretty metal.
basically, creator of it, he says that the Fire Force is in its final stages. It's basically about to be done for the manga.
Yeah.
And sadly to hear, he also said at the same time that he announced that Fire Force is almost done, that he plans on retiring afterwards.
That's his last kind
Fire
of
Force is the
coup d'etat.
last manga he's ever gonna write, and it's really sad because if you think about it, Soul Eater started airing in I believe like 2006, and so meaning 14 years later, this man is still writing mangas. He has Soul Eater being probably his most popular one from what I know.
Yeah, I'm currently rewatching Soul Eater.
So see, like even nowadays, people are still watching it, old and new. And then Fire Force obviously is his new hit anime, and it's just kind of sad to hear that he plans on retiring after a long time of writing mangas. A lot of people got a lot of enjoyment.
Yeah, man.
out
Well,
of it.
like Fire Force is like a hit last year, but I'm pretty sure it would have been even better if Demon Slayer didn't come out.
Yeah.
Because Demon Slayer was like the hit last year.
Yeah, Demon Slayer was killed all competition.
So I'm pretty sure like if Demon Slayer didn't come out, Fire Force would have been on top.
That is true. Personally, I kind of think Fire Force was overhyped.
It really was overhyped.
I found a lot of mixed reviews on it, like online.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people praising it, like it's like the best anime ever, and others are like, "Oh, the story wasn't there or whatever." Like too much
kind of
filler.
fell on its face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing like the story is gonna be in the second season from what I've seen. Like that's where it's gonna all lead up to.
Because I felt like the first season was just like introducing everybody and what's gonna happen, in the second season is more like, okay, now this is what's gonna happen. Like this is a main showdown.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it felt
so
like.
the first season was just kind of them getting on their feet, and then now
kind of like
second
establishing
season,
who's
they're
who,
running.
what's wrong with
Basically,
something.
from what I remember, it's like they're getting, they get the what's the thing called, like the
It's called-
stations, like Station 6 or
Yeah, it's the fire stations.
Yeah.
They're each called a different station. And
Yeah,
then,
so like they're like in Station 6, I believe.
8.
8. Okay,
Mhm.
they're in 8, and they're all trying to they're like the smallest company, and they're trying to make a bigger company by like going to other companies and recruiting people.
No. The whole point of Station 8 was to fight the other stations, and because they were being influenced by
they're like the investigation.
Yeah,
company.
that's what they were. Well, that's going into the story, and we're not
Yeah.
really here to talk about that. Season 2, I think you guys are right about Season 1 just kind of being a world builder.
Yeah,
It wasn't the heaviest in plot.
My take on that, or like my opinion, is if you're gonna take an entire season to world build, you better be coming in heavy with that second season. Especially like this is like me being a nobody. I'm throwing the gauntlets down to Okubo. Okubo or Okube?
Okubo.
Okubo. Yeah, I'm throwing the gauntlet down to Okubo, and I'm just saying, like, if this is gonna be his, like, Elvis has left the building style thing, I'm just like, hey man, this better be a fire, no pun intended, last season,
What's it called? Soul Eater and Fire Force. I'm like 2 hits there, like a lot of people love him, and it's like he doesn't want to. I'm guessing he just doesn't want to make a third one that's like boo boo.
Yeah,
and like just like, oh man, now I'm gonna retire with like a boo boo anime.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
Yeah, no one wants that. So I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like if they took the time, like in my opinion, I haven't seen Fire Force. I've seen like the first few episodes of it. Have seen Soul Eater. Soul Eater is really good, start to finish.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really have any slow points in it. It just kind of kept on keeping.
Yeah.
And Fire Force, from what I hear, it's mixed reviews.
Personally, when I first watched it, I personally didn't like enjoy it. I kind of dropped it off, but then I picked it up. I'm like, it's all right, It's
I mean,
So-
I liked it through and through.
Really?
That's just me. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so that's just like the way I see it is that it's kind of like 1 for 1 already. He's had like 1 hit and then 1 like kind of toss up. So
Sort
it's
of
just
flopping.
Yeah,
sort
so
of,
we'll see if
sort
like
of.
maybe like second season can bring it back to the point where the people just kind of forget season 1 happened
And so, to my argument to that is, I've never seen Soul Eater. I've never watched it. I've seen clips of it. I know. It was just nothing that I really got into. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Soul Eater is one of those long-running series. Like it doesn't count it by seasons, right? It does it just
episodes.
It's 52?
I think it's 52 episodes. Yeah.
So then it doesn't do it by seasons. It does it just by like episode by
it's
episode.
just, they
Yeah.
just slapped it. Now, I mean, I guess I didn't like the ending of Soul Eater. Now that I think about it,
Mhm.
I think it ended very kind of anticlimactic.
Honestly, I don't remember the ending. It's
so
been
so
since,
so
like,
the ending
years.
was where Maka finds out that she's like
Yo, spoilers.
her
Wait,
mother.
spoilers.
What?
I haven't seen it.
That's too bad.
Man!
It's been out for like 14 years.
You gotta
Uh,
throw a spoiler warning then, because
All
like
right,
you can't
spoiler
ruin it.
warning for Soul Eater, the anime that's been out for 14 years.
Sorry, JT.
Yeah, so it's where Maka finds out that her mom is like was a scythe, or
Yeah.
was like, so she's like part hunter and scythe.
Mm.
So then like she does like this ultimate super badass fight, and it's cool. I love Maka as a character, but then it kind of felt like it defeated the whole purpose of having Soul there,
Yeah.
because that's, so it's just like, yeah, and then like they just kind of, I don't know, it felt like they dropped the ball, like it just fell on its face. It had this like really crazy like sprint going, and then it just like meh. So hopefully that's not like a precursor to how
And
Fire Force is gonna run,
and then who knows? That might be why he decided to, or at least why companies decided to break it off into seasons instead of having it a long running like Soul Eater. Could be to help better digest the story of it all.
Well, I saw in a post on Twitter, I think it was like from this person who's like his account got banned, but it said that the series was supposed to have 48 episodes like pre-planned.
Fire Force.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh.
So I don't know if like that affects the outcome of the
Yeah, that's interesting to think that like if the first season already had filler. Well, I mean that's what some people say, right? That it was like just
I
a lot of
didn't-
filler.
I didn't necessarily think any of it was filler.
No?
I thought all
Okay.
of it was part of the story. It was
Hmm.
just wasn't it.
And
I
it
guess
didn't-
it was
it
just
didn't
more
feel
like
rushed?
a leading up to it. Just
No, honestly, I felt like everything felt fine with it. The story was whatever story was there. It was there. There wasn't really any filler to it. It was all necessary world building or character development,
Mhm.
and it didn't feel rushed at all to me. But at the same
and
time,
they had 24 episodes. It wasn't really rushed.
Oh, it was
Exa-
24 episodes.
yeah, season one was
Oh
24.
well, then yeah. If season 2 comes out as 24 episodes, well, then there's your 48.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, interesting. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. Like,
Well, we also talk about like what we think season 2 is going to be about.
yeah, okay. So, I mean, I put that ball in y'all's court because, like I said, I wasn't.
So the ending of season one, spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched it yet. The ending of season one kind of ended with the brothers. Their names Sho and
Shinra.
Shinra. Yeah, the brothers fighting it out. Shinra being our main protagonist. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Shinra kind of going fighting his brother. They both. I guess Shinra kind of develops mid-fight, and he ends up getting this new ability of his.
Oh, like kind of like his brothers.
Kind of like his brothers, yeah. So his brother Sho is able to cool. Their explanation for it is that he's able to cool down the world because everything's about fire. He's able to cool down the world so cold that he can freeze time. That's essentially what his
What?
power is. Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like time just stops basically, but like
he has
slow.
It's a time stop ability, but the problem is the way they describe it is using heat instead of
Yeah,
just
as I said, I
regular
was like,
time
but aren't they
stopping.
like fire dudes? So
Yeah, it's kind of convoluted in a sense.
Yeah, that was like
We'll
the
see.
Mm-hmm.
JT explained it to me, and I'm like, that sounds kind of lame. And then I
Yeah.
watched the anime. I saw the final fight, and I'm like, this is kind of lame.
And so Shinra, his new ability is that he's able to speed up, or he's able to use his flames, and he's able to go so fast that he basically disassimilates his
breaks
particles.
down. Yeah.
His particles break down into where he's traveling through particles,
Mhm.
and then he's able to. I kind of forget how it goes. He's because of the special flames that he's had.
The Adola burst.
Yeah, the Adola burst. He's able to He's able to put himself back together.
Mhm.
So he basically just like skips through dimensions.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
essentially.
lie. That's probably the coolest superpower I've ever heard.
But it's like it's also if he does it, it's like
Yeah,
he
if
can
he
die.
if he does it too much, he gets tired and his body won't be able to reassemble.
yeah.
So he just dies.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you got to put a cap on a OP power like that.
Yeah, but
I'm just
whenever I saw that scene, it's like yeah, my show can stop time, like slow down time, and then Shinra's like, oh yeah, I speed up time, and I'm like,
And then
how
some.
convenient,
how convenient.
Yeah, it's just kind of. Anyway, so back to the story of it all. Basically, both Sho and Shinra have the Adula burst, and
Adola burst. Yeah.
and apparently it's a special flame that what are they called again? There's an underground company, basically.
oh,
The
um,
what
the
name?
Clatter, which
Underground
one?
Brigade of Fire.
Sure.
No,
No.
What are you looking for?
The name of the group that show is part
The
of.
White Clad.
Yeah, so the White Clad, basically their whole agenda is to get these Adula bursts together, and the reasoning for it escapes me at the moment. It's been a while since I've seen Fire
It's like
Force.
Dragon Ball in their quest to get all the.
No,
No.
it has something to do with world destruction, I bet.
Ah,
Anyway, so yeah, their goal, the White Clad, is to gather all the Adula bursts. There's 3 of them. There's Sho, Shinra, and then a third character that they introduced at the end of the season 1. And their whole goal is to get them all together to basically cleanse the world. There's something like that.
nice.
So
isn't it like
Deus Vult.
he got like Shinra got caught by like the cult or whatever at the
no,
end he got captured.
no, he didn't get caught.
Oh.
Well, okay. So, what do y'all think is going to be happening in the second season?
Second season, I feel like it's going to be pretty straightforward. Like I said, the Adula bursts are going to be together. Shinra's going to try to master his power of time skipping, essentially, while also trying to get his brother Sho back onto
you-
his side.
Do you think Okubo is gonna like go off the cuff and like try to do something like spectacular as his like final hoorah,
I don't
or is he
think
gonna
so.
stick to source material? Or like, or I mean, obviously it's not him. He's not like producing the anime, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Manga wise, I feel like I can't say much because like I said, I've never seen or read
Yeah, yeah.
Soul Eater.
no, but I mean that's fine. But do you think he'll give like the company an okay to just be like, yeah, y'all can do whatever y'all want?
No, I doubt it.
No, probably
think so,
not.
man.
He's
Just,
probably
like,
gonna try
That'd
to
be
keep
cool
it as
though.
close.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, I
it'd be
mean, not
cool.
that like he would be displeased with his own work, but I don't know, maybe to like twist the ending just a little bit to be something a little more spectacular.
I feel like you'd probably see it like as a risk more than like, you know.
Yeah, that brings up a good question. I wonder how much interaction like the author of a manga has with
The production
like,
of
with
the anime.
production of anime,
Yeah.
because I know like George R. Martin in doing
Star Wars.
Game
Harry-
of Thrones.
Oh,
He since like the show caught up with the books, he got with like the directors of Game of Thrones and was all like, yeah, this is how I intended to end, but how you get there is up to you, pretty much is essentially what happened there.
yeah.
So I wonder if like that ever happens with like manga and anime. Yeah, but-
Probably not, just because you've seen how fan bases can be about
the
anime
manga.
going off the source
yeah.
material. Full Metal Alchemist is
yeah.
a good example of that.
yeah, but I mean it's not always bad. I mean,
No, it's not always bad, but
but
avid fans
but
are pretty
regardless,
against
yeah,
it.
it's I don't know. I feel like I might need to give the manga a read just to see if it is something that's like, yeah, if it's a hot. Obviously, my opinion isn't the final judgment of it, but it's just curiosity.
Well, then rolling on to the next anime, let's talk about Sword Art. Kind of keep with the fantasy vibe.
okay,
Sword
sure,
Art
right.
Online, Alicization, World of the Underworld Part 2. God, that's a
Part 3.
mouthful.
Electric
Part
Boogaloo.
3.
Part 3,
Part two.
Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo. Yep, that's
Mouthful.
That is
God,
yeah.
that's-
It's it just keeps on going. But so as it says, it is the continuation to the last season or prior season. Well, it is going to be the last. I think is from what I read. Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of Underworld. Gang's all back. Everyone's coming back.
Yeah.
To make some type of like final epic battle fan servicey moment, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Kirito, I'm willing to bet is gonna make like the
Epic
the
final
epic
comeback
final comeback
From
like,
from dual wheeler to
Yeah.
dual wielder. God.
oh man, but yeah, he's gonna the RKO out of nowhere. He's just gonna come out and just everyone's gonna be like about to die, and he just like just
Yeah.
comes blasting around the corner like Initial D.
Yeah.
But
Deja vu.
yeah, man. I mean, so it ends with them in a tight spot in a pickle, and then like the original cast comes back.
Oh yeah, they captured that Alice. They captured Alice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all like going to go get her, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched the trailer for it when it finished. So I watched it last month. I think it was last month or the month before. I watched it and I was like, "Holy crap, this is great!" And for the podcast, I was like, "Oh, just curiosity." I was like, "I want to know when the next one comes out." and I Google it, and it's like
April
it comes out
25th.
on like April 25th, and I look
Yeah.
at my like watch or like the clock, and I'm like, oh, that's like 2 weeks from now. I'm like, hold up, what's going on? And then I like start Googling it, and then I find out that it's been pushed back to July,
Yeah,
right?
July.
July seems to be, again, if Mr. Coronavirus son wants to stick around, that probably is going to get pushed back again.
Mm.
And now it's one of those where which I will touch on in a little bit, but like Comedy SNAFU, that one is done. Like they're done
Like,
making it.
Done.
It's just when they're going to
Release it.
Yeah, like on TV, and they were saying in its like as a placeholder they're going to be airing season 2 instead. So I'm curious, like, is it just that they want to get maximum views, so they want to release it when everything's good, or yeah, like I'm confused. I'm like,
No
if it's
clue,
already
man.
done production wise, why not just release it? Especially now since everyone's got a quarantine stay at home. I feel like everybody's gonna want to be wanting to watch stuff.
It could be that the animation parts of it is all done, and maybe even the voice acting too, but it could just be like the editing of it all.
Yeah, it could be.
And so, like, as I've been kind of reading online, Japan isn't as equipped to working at home as us in America are, because they're much more traditional about it. They are very on board with in building meetings and like meeting face to face. So when it comes to working at home, they're not as well equipped as say we are. So it's taking them a lot longer to be able to kind of deal with what's going on. That and the fact that it's hitting them a lot worse than it is over here.
Sure. Interesting. But I mean, regardless, it's gonna be hype.
Yeah, like I saw World of Underworld, and I'm like, man, like Kirito didn't do anything like this whole season. I'm like, I was really hoping like he'd do something, but now I'm like, it was kind of like just a filler build up for part 2, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, I never. I don't know. I feel sometimes it's like a bittersweet. It's like I'm glad that there's more of it coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever I find out like, oh yeah, there's like no Kirito action. But I think they did a really good job of, even though he's like the pro tag, that they kind of like switched it up, and they're like, no, Alice is essentially the pro tag now, and then you get like some Asuna and like all this other world building and character building. I think it's done really good. I didn't really, like, in watching it, I didn't miss Kirito. I wasn't like, oh man, like, I don't know. One can argue that maybe he's not the best pro tag, especially because they make him like so freaking OP.
Yeah, I can argue that pretty easily.
But yeah, I think they managed to switch gears where they're just like, okay, let's get away from that and kind of start something new. So I'm hoping in the second season, I don't know, because they left it off at a very high point, right? So I'm curious if like right out the gate, first episode of this part 2, it's just gonna be like just hammering away, just like action scene after action scene, like.
I have no clue. Like, it'd be pretty cool, but I kind of doubt it. It's probably gonna start off with like the group, like from the original group. Like, I don't know, man. That's
just like getting together and like planning how to go save.
Yeah,
I don't know, because like I said, it was such a high point of like,
wasn't it like the uncle, like Alice's uncle, like went after her, or whatever.
Yeah.
Isn't
But
that, like, how
then
it ended? Or like there was like a fight between.
It was him and somebody else that they went like after Alice, and then
and then Alcina came and like saved the guy, right?
No, I thought they ended up like getting Alice back, and then there was like the big crater, and then everyone gets teleported in, right?
Yeah.
So like they got Alice back, unless or all that happened and then they took Alice.
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I just watched this like a little while ago, and I don't really remember. But yeah, so they have this moment where like, because there's like the underworld, like the VR world where stuff's happening, and then there's also the outside world where there's stuff happening as well.
Okay, so they do a little more building in both the real life and the virtual world.
Yeah, well, I like it because in the first ever season of Sword Art, it's just
the VR world.
In the VR world, and it's like if you die here, you die in real life.
Yeah.
But now there's the aspect where it's like, yeah, you die in here, no big deal. I mean, it's kind of a big deal, I think, for Kirito because he's in there because he's actually comatose IRL.
Yeah, he's using it to like help him recover,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but normally it's like you die in here, it's not really a big deal. But you die out but there's like dudes out in the real world that are trying to kill you right now. So
Yeah,
like,
they're like in the turtle or whatever, like the
Yeah.
little ship, and they're like being attacked.
There's-
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick just because I am kind of curious. So like, for someone like me who isn't the biggest fan of SAO,
Sure.
honestly, like I'm still trying to find reasons as to why I should even start watching SAO.
I don't think you're ever going to watch SAO.
Like-
I think you're too biased against it.
Yeah, the thing
it's-
is like it's probably like the whole like
It's
people say like
It-
it's not good,
it
but it's
might-
like honestly I didn't enjoy, you know, SAO, but then I gave it another shot and I'm like, this is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I actually enjoyed it. Like obviously it's not the best anime, you know. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it's like I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Okay.
I think SAO is irredeemable. I think it's already built up too much of a reputation for people like you who have already made up their mind about it.
Mhm.
And like it's fan servicey, it's tacky, it's trashy, it's poorly written, bad action scene, whatever it may be. People have already made up their minds about it, and there's no coming back. There's no amount of persuasion that'll get them to come back to it, and that's unfortunate because I think they're in like maximum stride. They're like in high performance, like they're going, they're nailing it. I think it's a lot of it still has like the fan servicey tacky moments, like it's there, but I think like what anime doesn't, you know.
Mhm.
I guess that's
And
fair.
I think they're executing very well right now.
Yeah, a lot of like the media is like really picky about SAO too.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
like
it's got to be. It's like it was one of the biggest animes when it first initially came out, and then after that, it just kind of like snowballed downhill.
Mhm.
And then from
Yeah.
the sounds of it, with Alicization, they're really trying to roll that ball
Yeah.
back up the hill.
And I think they're doing a really good job. Like I said, it's just unfortunate that people have already made up their minds about it. And it's just like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Us SAO fans, you know, we're going to sit here in the sun drinking our mojitos.
Oh yeah, y'all
en-
avid, y'all.
enjoying a good anime. But no, I mean, I do, like, again, I mean, I've been trying to get y'all to watch it for the longest time. It's good. I think I just like thought of it right now. I think this second season. So with the whole like IRL part,
Mhm.
basically what's happening is Alice is codename Alice, like it's a
the project.
yeah,
like,
Project
That's
Alice.
like for AI or something.
Yeah,
right?
they're trying to make like legit AI, like full thinking AI, and they're gonna like repurpose it for like war or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
they're gonna put it like in soldiers, like
Right.
yeah.
So then there's like the Americans, I believe they're American, right?
they're the
like,
guys that bust in, or like
Yeah.
the Americans hire that one guy, right?
yeah, they're pretty much trying to steal this AI to, you know, so they can be theirs, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
they don't want Japan to have it. So there's that whole outside of the world plot line that's happening. What I think is gonna happen is they're gonna like pull something where like Alice is like in IRL now, like they pull her out and
And they have to fight her.
no,
Or,
not
like,
fight
she-
her,
oh,
but like
I would think like
it's gonna be like happy ending where it's like yeah,
well,
we-
obviously, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so,
like-
but I feel like more like I don't think IRL, but maybe she turns like evil AI,
really
and then probably like, well, she was already evil in
What?
Alicization. Remember?
Oh,
like,
but no, that's just because of
yeah, she like broke the forbidden taboo.
or
you know?
what's her name, the administrator or whatever.
Yeah, administrator.
She like took her memories and like recoded her to do
Yeah.
her bidding or whatever.
But
But
I-
no. So I think it's gonna happen one of two ways. Either one, it's like valiant sacrifice to like destroy that world and herself with it, so that because like they'll explain to her, be like, yeah, listen, like if you make it out to the real world, you're gonna get exploited.
Mm.
People are gonna like be fighting wars for you and stuff like that, and she's gonna be like, well, that's terrible. Her being like the
Yeah,
the whole like
'Cause
maximum goodness.
everybody
She's
thinks
just
that
gonna,
like they're like Asuna was a god, right? Because they're like, oh, you're like the three gods or whatever. So yeah.
I think they're gonna be like, yeah, listen, Alice, this is what's gonna happen, and she's just gonna be like, well, that's terrible, like that. No, like I'm just gonna ruin y'all's world. So, so then she like kills herself in or some like sacrificial way that like destroys that underworld
Mm-hmm.
and everything with it, all the data with it and everything, and then Kirito and Asuna make it out and they live a happily ever life. Or, which I kind of want to see, which would be cooler, is if they manage to pull Alice out and then she just lives happily ever after, like incognito mode.
Well,
In
sounds like that's kind of like a Code Lyoko kind of vibe to it.
oh yeah, that would be true.
That's
True.
funny.
Well, I'm gonna change gears on us real quick, just because I kind of want to talk about this next one real quick, so we can get it out of the way.
All right.
Good follow up to SAO is always ReZero.
Unfortunately.
ReZero Season 2. For people who don't know, I'm a huge fan of ReZero. I think
Some may say the biggest fan.
what can I say, man? All I know is it's in my top 3 for anime. Like it's really high up there. Season 2, it seems like it's gonna be doing just everything that season 1 did, but even to a grander, or not grander, but a better scaling, just because it's a continuation off of what season 1 left off of.
Was it season 1 was like the first 3 arcs of like ReZero?
Yeah,
Like,
so
I mean-
season 1 was the first 3 arcs of the light novel.
And then like season 2 is gonna be just the 4th one.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna get a lot more just focused on what's happening, because arc 4 for ReZero is probably one of the bigger ones. Just before we started recording this, I rewatched, I should say, the teaser trailer for season 2, and it just kind of goes to show how wild the anime is gonna get. So basically, it shows our main character Subaru
Behind like Microsoft 98.
Yeah,
Like, background.
Microsoft 98 background.
The green grass.
rolling
Green
hills,
grass,
The
blue
grassy
sky.
knoll.
And so it shows him like walking through that grassy field, but then it starts showing like these bodies kind of piled up to either side, making like a straight path towards somewhere.
Mm.
And then you see a lot of the main characters. You see Ram, you see Rem, you see Amelia, you even see like other side characters like Crush. And
you even see like characters that you're gonna see for like season 2, like that are gonna be like play a
that-
bigger role. So you
Exactly.
know
Yes.
that there's gonna be like new protagonists.
and
that are
it
gonna
all
help.
and at the end of the trail, it all leads up to a character who looks a lot like Amelia, who they had been talking about through the entire of season 1, which her name is Satella. She is the witch of the land, and it looks like it's going to be gearing up to be really good.
Yeah, when you were telling me about this, I got like big like Avengers vibes from it.
Mhm.
Like when Tony Stark, I think, has that premonition of like all the Avengers dying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got like big vibes of that, where it's just like they're letting you know, like, hey man, like some serious stuff's about to happen.
Really.
And it's really hype that a lot of these series are coming to an end. Like it's unfortunate, but it's just like,
Yeah.
man, they've been building for a bit, and like now it's just like all eyes on you, man. Like show us what you got. Show me what you've got. You know, it's
Yeah.
like roll out the carpet. Let's see, finish it up,
honestly,
finish strong, or fall on your face.
So I feel like, so ReZero season 2, it kind of had a rough going, just because originally they had planned on releasing a director's cut of season 1, where they change up certain scenes, make some a couple of seconds longer, change up kind of like animations and just like drawings and stuff like that. They just kind of change it just a little bit and adding a few new things here and there. And then originally how it was supposed to go, that after the director's cut of season 1 was done airing, they were going to start immediately into season 2, and that was back in April. But because of everything that's been going on, they had to push it back, and so we still have to wait another couple of months for it. It's supposed to be airing sometime in July. No, really, any specifics about when in July.
Yeah.
They just know it's going to be July.
Just a set month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think even that's just, again, I feel like it's just because the whole COVID thing. It's
Mhm.
just like, that's the start of the next season. And it's just like,
Yeah,
if things have cleared up, then
New quarter.
then I still don't think it'll come out July. I feel like they'll kind of settle into another date
You think?
once everything clears. Yeah, I think that's more of just to kind of give people
No false
something.
hope.
Yeah. Just like just something. So it'd be like, yeah, like July, the start of the next season. You know?
I never thought about it like that, but yeah, that's.
I don't know.
actually
Well,
a
yeah,
really
because
good
like, when you think
case.
about it, it's just them going for like a decent amount of time to where it'd be believable for COVID to kind of like pass over,
Mhm.
Mhm.
or it's just like
a placeholder like
Yeah.
people put for other things.
Yeah, and then if things are still rough, then they'll just push it back to. It'll be like, what is it? October is the start
Yeah.
of the fall
Yeah.
season.
Like a
Then
lot
I
of
think they'll be like
movies that were
October 2020.
yeah, a lot of movies that were supposed to come out like got pushed back all the way to October and September.
And then
So I'm
that's
like,
that. Well, then there's also the ones that have just been directly airing on like
Yeah.
streaming services.
yeah.
Because then I wonder if there's. It's kind of like movies and video games, right? I
Mhm.
think it's all the same. Where it's like everyone's fighting for screen time, right?
Mhm.
So they all kind of decide on what quarter they decide to release.
Yeah, which one's going to be like the
Exactly.
holiday release? Which one's
So
going to
when-
be the summer release?
If you think about like these 5 that we're talking about, if they all dropped July 2020, it's like they're not gonna get maximum screen time because it's
Mhm.
just gonna be like, at least for me, I'm gonna be like, man, Sword Art, Comedy Snafu,
Like an oversaturation.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
Yeah.
like, I don't have all the time to watch all of them at the same time.
One bit.
So I think like once we get, but once we get closer to that time, I think they'll kind of settle into their own time slots and be like, yeah, we're gonna push back to August or
I find
something
that-
like that.
I do find that very believable just because it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I think there is going to be a period, however long or short it's going to be, where we are going to get oversaturated with things that are coming out.
Because everything comes out at once.
Yeah, because it's going to have to restart at some point in time. And if it's July, then that just makes things happen all the more sooner for people to get back on regular track.
Oh yeah, true.
Um,
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll kind of see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to season 2 of ReZero. I'm always happy to talk about it.
ReZero was a really good anime. I'm
It
not-
was such
yeah,
a good
yeah,
anime.
really good.
Well, rolling on to our next anime, let's talk about How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon Season 3, or DanMachi.
DanMachi Season 3.
If you can't tell, I'm kind of avoiding a certain anime because I want to save that one for last.
Oh yeah, not for you.
Yeah.
This one, I wasn't a fan of last season. I
Mhm.
think in comparison to the first one, but even thinking on it, the first one didn't even end that well either. It
Yeah.
ended like super rushed. Do y'all remember how that ended?
Yeah,
First
they
season?
ended
Yes.
with like them doing a fight against some giant
Some
creature
like,
underground.
super monster, and it
Yeah.
was just like everyone's like getting screwed over,
Yeah.
and then like
Protag becomes Protag and beats him
Protag,
up.
but it's just like it felt super rushed, super forced, and I'd say it was really like the only blemish on the season
Mm.
that was like intense because everything else was good.
Yeah.
It kind of made sense. And then the second season, like nothing really spectacular happened. I think they were setting it up, but you can tell they
Mhm.
introduced a lot of characters. I think that kind of tripped themselves up
Mhm.
in trying to establish all these new characters and all these new plot lines. They didn't make any room for the already pre-running plot of like Belle
It didn't
and
like
what's her face, the god
Wait, what's her name? Hestia. Yeah.
Hestia, and then
Yeah.
what's her face, the blonde haired knight.
Eyes.
Oh yeah, Ice.
Yeah,
Right,
the love interest or whatever.
His
Yeah,
love
It
interest.
just like the second season didn't feel the same as the first
Yeah.
season. It just, for me, the second season felt rushed. I don't know. There was so much to it that I just didn't enjoy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's really like my main thing. That was my main observation. That
Mhm.
was just that's what it felt like, that they were just trying to like set all this stuff up.
Mhm.
And like I said, it's like, hey, that's cool. I get you have to do it. It's like you take the L now to get the win later. It's like, so instead of trying to like weave it in, because I feel like if they tried to weave that in with normal plot, it would be 4 seasons worth of content,
Mhm.
right? But I think by doing this, they're able to, take the hit on the second season for the third season to be like bumping.
Yeah.
That being said, if the third season isn't bumping, and we got issues.
Well, actually, with
That's-
that, like going back, how you said that they're introducing a lot of characters. They have a history of doing OVAs, so they might like sort of push someone else's story into like a movie or a side
yeah.
thing. And also, do you remember like how the second season ended?
So I actually didn't watch the final episode,
Oh
like
man,
because it's
that's
what
okay.
episode 13, I think, 12 or 13.
I don't remember, dude. It's been a while.
But anyways, I want to say it was 13.
Hmm.
I didn't watch the final episode because it felt like it ended on episode 12, right? So what's her name? It was the goddess. It was Helena.
Hestia?
No.
No.
What goddess of what?
She has like the biggest house, the biggest family.
Freya?
Freya, there you go. I was like, it's one of like the top goddesses
Yeah.
of like, but I was thinking Greek, but yeah,
Freya.
Mm-hmm. And then the Amazon goddess. Do you remember her name?
So,
Freya kills
Yeah.
her. No, I'm
sorry.
oh my god.
Oh my God.
Yo, wait, I
First
haven't
one.
seen season 2, dude.
Yeah, well, that's too bad, JT. It's all right.
I do remember
Evie will
that
just
scene,
bleep
though.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah. But you remember, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just gives her the good old pat on the back. That happens, and then she like says some
Like no playing. She's not playing games anymore.
yeah,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
kind of sets it up, and she's just like, yeah, coming after you, Belle, or something like
Yeah.
something along those lines of just like, I'm done playing games, like we're getting serious now.
Yeah.
Um
With the last episode that you missed, it introduces even another character. Like at the very end, like the credits roll or whatever. Like in the end, there's like this little clip, and there's this like elf woman like with a red like gem on her forehead.
mhm.
Like she
Oh.
kind of like seeps out of the wall of a cave,
Nice.
and like that's how it ends.
I'm into that.
Okay.
No, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like things like that. Like I didn't feel like I needed to watch that.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sure when
it's
the
just
season
more
comes out-
setup for.
Yeah, like I said, like plot wise, there wasn't much there to begin with. But yeah, like Hestia and Belle have this like nice, like they hug and they hug it out,
Yeah.
and it's just like, yeah, like you're my only familiar or whatever they call it.
Mhm.
And Freya said her thing, and
And even then, there's more things with like the God of War who's also coming in.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like I said, like it was all very predictable in my
Mm.
opinion. That it's just like took it as they're setting up, and I was like,
Mhm.
quite frankly, I don't really care about it. I was like, I'll come back to it when it actually comes out.
Mhm.
I mean, like to this day, I still have it like on my Crunchyroll watch list, and it's still waiting for me to
Yeah.
finish episode 12 because I think I even ended that one prematurely,
Mm-hmm.
like a good 3-4 minutes before credits rolled.
Yeah.
Like that being said, there's a lot of material for that, whether it's more seasons, more OVAs, a movie even.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that they're actually gonna end it.
Yeah.
I don't think season 3 is gonna be an ending.
I mean, there's too many things going on
Yeah,
for
so
it just to end.
there's always the problem of like if you have too many strings to tie up, like loose ends to tie up,
Mm-hmm.
they could all get tangled up, and then
Oh,
there's just
Mm,
there's
Flop
no
at the end.
there's no real satisfying ending.
yeah, I know that all
Um,
too well, man.
Yeah, so it's just I don't know, they because there wasn't really from season 1 there weren't really any like loose ends that needed tying.
Mm-hmm.
So then like they make a whole bunch of them in season 2,
And they may have made too much.
Exactly. So now the thing with like Freya and stuff like that, like they could make that a long running plot line.
It looks like that's the main plot
Yeah,
line.
exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So like if that one's like the main like core thread that they're gonna follow all the way through into a possible season 4 or something.
Mhm.
But I don't know. There's like a lot you have to look into. Is just that I want to say it's like a popular one for the fans, and I only say that I don't want to call it a mainstream anime, but I want to say it's popular because they're always having like the movie events where they play them, like they played the
Oh, yeah.
movies in theaters.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like my indicator to okay, this anime is doing fairly well.
Kind of like My Hero.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like My Hero, Konosuba. Like they're getting Demon Slayer.
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
they're all getting like
Dude, I want-
Fandango
I
movie
fi-
screen releases.
I finished Demon Slayer the other night, dude. I wanted more
Yeah.
Demon Slayer. I'm like,
Yeah, and so I'm actually hyped because the movie's supposed to follow. Like,
yeah,
Yeah, the movie's
story.
supposed to be a direct
canonical,
sequel.
so I'm hyped for that.
I don't know, dude. I'm craving Demon
Yeah.
Slayer. I can't.
But yeah, so I'm curious to see like, is it popular enough, and is there enough source material for them to keep rocking and go to a season 4?
I mean, there's no
Or-
doubt that there's enough source material. It's up to the fans at this point
Yeah,
to see if they're gonna enjoy it.
up to I guess also as well the creators to see if they can execute properly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, here's hoping that season 3 ends up being pretty decent at the very least. I know season 2 kind of flopped. Season 3, let's
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
fingers crossed. So we're gonna jump into a more realistic anime just because We
All
kind
the
of
other
need
ones
to.
were like fantasy, huh?
Yeah, all those were kind of fantasy. So we're gonna jump into a little more realistic kind of anime, and we're gonna talk about My Teen Romantic Comedy SNAFU Season 3.
Oh.
Whew.
Speaking of mouthfuls,
So I've seen season 1 and 2. Carlos, you've
Yep.
seen season 1 and 2.
Yep.
Ev, I don't think you've
I've-
touched it
I
yet.
haven't heard about it. About
Okay.
this
I don't
anime.
know.
Oh,
since
you
today.
about to then?
Oh,
I've never,
man.
yeah, I've heard about it.
You gotta
a
convince
lot,
me.
but
Okay.
I've never seen it.
So
Diego's never seen. Oh man. Okay, so Carlos, me and you are gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
convincing here.
So now my thing with this anime is that I'm a big romance fan. I love a good like little heartwarming, little butterflies. You know, like I love it. Big fan. That being said, I don't like love triangles.
Mm.
I hate them.
Yeah.
As
It's
you,
the whole
as you
drama
stated
aspect.
before.
Yeah, there's this one anime called like Gamers or something like that, and
Yeah.
it's literally, it's like it's a weak ploy to feed drama,
Yeah.
right? And it's kind of like scary movies. Like I don't like scary movies because none of them know how to use true horror or terror.
Yeah, they all use
use
jump scares
jump
or
scares,
whatever.
exactly.
Something easy.
It's like a weak,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a weak,
Tactic.
yeah. So when I see a love triangle, I'm just like, oh, they're gonna milk that to like all hell. Like it's just that's all it's gonna be.
Yeah.
However, this one doesn't set it up that way. If anything, you don't really feel the romance, like love triangle, until season 2. Now, it's about a club. You have this like the protag. And I'm not really gonna say names because I can't remember them too well.
I got you. You got
Oh, I do. It's Hiki. So the
Hiki
orange hair
Gaia.
girls calls him Hiki.
His name is Hikigaya.
It's Hiki, Yugi, or Yui,
Mhm.
and then Toko.
So the
Tonko?
real names of them are our protagonist, Hikigaya,
Yeah.
the black-haired female protagonist, Yukino
Yukino.
Shida. That's I remembered why this anime stuck out to me so much because a lot of the characters, their first name is
Is
also
the
part
same
of
as
their
the
last
last name? Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have Yui Gahama,
Yeah. There you
and
go.
those are the 3 main characters.
Right. So Hiki and Yuki, they start a club
Mhm.
that's like they go around helping people.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that was commissioned by a teacher. The teacher asked Yuki to help Hiki because he's a super like cynical, just like doesn't care about the world, like he just like hates everything.
Pretty much.
And so she was like, fix this guy. And so they go around doing that. And then that's where Yui ends up coming in as the first person they help. And then they start the club.
It just kind of,
Anyways.
anyways, from there, it kind of goes on to their like lives of them just kind of dealing with other schools' problems, them kind of building their group together, just kind of showing them develop. And then, like Carlos says, season 2 is when you really start seeing they really emphasize the like love interest.
Yeah, because like season 1, like it's considered romance, but from my memory, there's not much there. Like you get a little bit of like the blush, you know, or like
Is it more
oh,
like
man.
set up for the second season?
it's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
but super stealthily. Like
How?
like it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like a slice of life school anime. Like
So-
it's
Oh,
just,
it's like
a
building
normal-
in the background.
yeah.
A normal romance anime would usually be like you have the 2 characters there, and they're like they're aware of each other and they spend a lot of time together, but you can see like the romance happening.
This
where,
this one starts with like Yuki straight hating
like he hates everybody.
Hiki. Like they both hate each other
Mm-hmm.
because they're both like they counter each other. Like they
Opposites.
just they're
Yeah.
opposites, and so they both like low key kind of hate each other, and then they start to warm up to each other, but more like just friends. And then Yui comes in, and same thing. She's like a ditzy-ish character.
She's a very bubbly character.
Yeah, and so she just doesn't seem like even like remotely close to it. Season 2 happens, and then they start building on that more. And again, it's a little more apparent. Their feelings for each other kind of start to come out. And really, it's just the ending that's like I have to like applaud them. Like it's just
No spoilers on the ending.
I
I don't know. I can't do that to them.
that's not spoilers though.
Of the ending of season 2.
That's not a spoiler.
That is
No.
a spoiler.
How could he say
Sounds
the
like a
ending is
spoiler.
not a spoiler?
Yeah, it sounds like a spoiler to me.
Because that's set up for season 3.
Yeah, it's set up for season 3, but not
Seriously,
whatever.
yeah.
I'll leave
Yeah,
that
it's
up
not
to
a-
you then.
Here, okay, possible spoiler warning for teen
I'll
comedy
just
romantic
bleep this
snafu.
out. It's fine.
No, so it's pretty much just they go on this like hangout, but it's like a triple date, and so like normal protag Hiki like just doesn't know. He's
He's-
oblivious to
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing
My
or like
ears,
their emotions for him.
they can't handle the spoiler.
Yeah. Wait, that's the. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you. And yeah, he's like oblivious, like any normal protag. He's just like the dumb blockhead, just like, oh, she likes me, you know, like that kind of
What?
thing. Yeah, and but Yui pretty much like declares war almost on Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like this weird like air of tension between the three of them now, and they're like distancing because of these emotions they have for each other, and she's just like they want that friendship to continue, but they also want to be with each other
Mm-hmm.
romantically. So to end that, like Yui's just like, all right, I know what has to be done. Like they have this like, okay, I will give a warning to the audience, people who want to watch this. I'm not the benchmark for this, but like I had to do a lot of research after I finished watching it because there's a lot of like
It's a lot of like reading between the lines.
yeah, a lot. Like it's intense. Like even Hiki, like I just watched the last episode a couple minutes ago. Even Hiki was like talking about like yeah, like she was saying things but without actually saying anything. And like he again like they do a really good job of like masking it and just being like yeah, like you don't know what's happening, and it's just but you know what I'm saying?
You
Like
see it
so
develop
you,
in the
yeah. You have to like really pay attention to like the facial features. They do really good at like the eyes and like the face and
Yes.
just like what she's saying doesn't actually mean what she's saying
So
because
there's more meaning within the
right.
words.
Exactly.
yeah, because she's essentially telling her like, hey, you better kick it into high gear, or like, I'm gonna take him because with this what's happening isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't say that because then it would be admitting or like essentially confessing to Hiki that they love him,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they have to go about it this like weird roundabout way,
Mm-hmm.
and it's done like extremely well. It's some of the best like writing that I've ever heard in or seen in an anime.
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's like it's incredibly good. And so season 3 is essentially just picking up on that. I'm assuming.
Continuation.
Yeah, like they're actually gonna finish it.
And
Mhm.
so because of that, I kind of want to just kind of do a broad general conversation with you, just because we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, and so I'm going to bring it up again. So the character that they're kind of throwing into the mix, her name is Iroha Ishiki. She's not a new character. She's actually a recurring character. I kind of want thoughts and opinions on what her role you think is going to be, because I talked to you about, is she going to be part of the love triangle?
I hope not. First of all,
Me too.
like
Honestly.
don't get me wrong, I like a good harem. Like, but like what's happening here again? Okay, so you know what a harem is, right?
Yes.
Multiple girls, one protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
It's technically because two girls like him. I think it's two or more makes it a harem, but it doesn't feel like that at all. Like
No.
it really is just like the protag doesn't even matter. Hiki doesn't matter.
Mm.
Essentially, it's like this like. I'm
It's more like a
exaggerating
connection.
more, but it's like this like weird mental warfare between the two girls. Like
Okay.
it becomes more about them than
Mhm.
anything, which I like. I jive with that a lot. Like it's really cool. So that being said, that girl, if they add that girl into it,
Mhm.
I think it's gonna ruin that entire like that weird chemistry that the three of them have.
Yeah,
and,
where like they're trying to
like-
all be friends, even though the two girls
Yeah,
have feelings
exactly.
for
Everything they were building up.
Yeah.
exactly.
And that being said, they might use her as a catalyst
Mhm.
to kind of push either of them. But I think Yui's already doing a good job enough to push Yuki to come to terms with these emotions that she has.
You say that, but
Like-
if my memory isn't serving me right, but I'm pretty sure her ideas for how the group she basically has her own like plot almost, because she has her own ideas of how she wants things to kind of happen and
Yeah.
stuff. And to me it seems like she could possibly be a second catalyst almost for
The new girl?
yeah, for Ishiki is her name. I feel like she could be a second catalyst for Yuki, because I don't feel like, even with Yui pushing Yuki as hard as she is, I don't feel like it'll be enough for
But-
her to really want to change how things are.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because Yui isn't like pushing her intentionally.
Yeah,
It's more of a just like
she wants to keep the group together, and this is the only way that she can think
Yeah.
of how.
So see, like I want to say that to kind of in case the audience was like having struggling with putting those two together, but then like I don't know, you say that's spoiler, I don't really know. But yeah, like Yui has like her own idea of like how to save them from splitting apart,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that just happens to kind of push Yuki to the side. In that competition for romance or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It's like there's not really any room for a third girl. Like there really isn't. And so, but like the type of character that Yuki is, I don't know if it would benefit from having a catalyst, someone else that's going to be butting in. Like,
See, but I don't see Ishiki being the second catalyst as her being part of the love triangle. I feel like she would do it for a nefarious reason rather than trying to be with sorry, I forgot his name.
Hiki.
Hiki, yeah. I see it more as like she's interested in what's kind of happening, and so she uses herself as a ploy to get Yuki more invested in it than she probably is.
Yeah.
Not necessarily adding into the love triangle, but more as just like she's just kind of doing it just to be
just like
just to
poking.
mess people around.
Yeah. No, I can see that. That
Mhm.
fits perfectly in there actually. Yeah, that's really like because they're already too invested in these three characters for them to add anybody else, because anybody else being added in is already going to be like, as far as character development goes,
Mm-hmm.
like Yuki, she starts off as this like super cold girl, like just like doesn't whatever. 2 seasons go by, she changes at least 3 times, I want to say.
Like
She's a completely different person at the end.
She still has kind of like a cold outer exterior, but she's definitely a much different person than what
She showed more emotions.
Yeah. So I think there's already been too much like
established.
for them to just like she would just be like in a race she would be last. Like there's also no making it up without it feeling rushed. She wouldn't be as well developed of a character
as the others.
So that's really like the only way I see her fitting in is by just kind of like poking at them and kind of making things happen.
No, I can definitely picture
kind
that
of
too.
like a little puppeteer.
Yeah,
like
she's
making
playing.
them dance.
She's being the puppet master.
But yeah, that's what I'm really excited. I like a good romance. I don't like drama.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where this goes. I think I'm gonna like it regardless, just because of like I don't know. They've been doing a really good job about it.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it so that way I just get like a fresher memory of it.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
too.
you should. It's a really
I mean,
good
it's always been on my watch list. I just like never gotten around to watch it.
So we're gonna kind of wrap this up here. We're starting.
Is
to
that
hit
all
our
of them
mark.
already?
Yeah, that's all
Yeah,
5
that's
of
all of
them.
Man.
Obviously,
Nice
there's
time
like
management, guys.
obviously there's more like in the summer animes that we haven't.
Well,
yeah, there's,
that's
like, way
true, and I
more,
do
like-
want to take a little bit of time to kind of give a shout out to a couple of them, just because they're ones that I've been kind of not only been kind of keeping my eye on, but that kind of interest me. So the first one is called Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. It's really nothing like too big or extravagant. It's basically just a simple slice of life comedy anime about this girl whose name is Uzaki, and she just wants to hang out with her friend. And it's basically kind of like it's a slice of life comedy ecchi anime. It's nothing super serious, but it sounds. Don't give me that
I'd
look.
watch it. I love comedy slice of life.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like it sounds kind of
With
interesting.
ecchi,
I think
I'm in.
yeah, we definitely need like a few kind of breathers in between a lot of these like heavy hitting anime.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
I think there's some of these coming to an end, and some of these that are like just hitting their peak climax.
Like a lot of these are so
Yeah.
like intensive about what the story is and where it needs to be. It's nice to take kind of like a breather
Yeah,
every now and then.
have something chill.
hmm And so the second anime I want to bring up is The God of High School. So we talked about this a little bit.
No, just playing. I'm playing. Calm down.
We talked about this a little bit already. For those of you who don't know, it is a manhwa, or as most commonly known as a webtoon, that's being turned into an anime, kind of following the suit of Tower of God.
It looks really good. I seen like the cover art for it. I'm like, I seen like multiple cover arts for it,
Mhm.
and it looks really good.
the God of High School, it's still currently coming out, but it's in its final stages. It's going to
Yeah.
be ending pretty soon.
So that's a summer. That's a summer 2020 anime.
Yes, both of these have been announced for July of 2020.
No delays.
No delay so far. That being said,
Just wait.
there's also no confirmed release day for them. They have
Right.
a release month, but not a day. So kind of keep an eye out. They might be delayed. They might not. We'll let you guys know once they kind of announce and
I wonder if
update.
there's kind of like a Cold War esque style of strategy behind releasing, right? Because I feel
Mm.
like God of High School comes out, that's a pretty big one. Sword Art is a pretty big one. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if these are just kind of like waiting to see who's coming out when, so that they can like plot around it.
See, I would argue against that just because Sword Art wasn't originally slated for July, was it?
No, but that's what I'm saying is that whole pushback. Like
Do you think they could be some kind of like new strategy ploy?
I don't
around
know.
it?
Like I don't know. That's assuming because these are like ongoing. Like they come out and they'll be coming out week to week.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm treating them like video games essentially, right?
Yeah.
But because I guess they could all come out in the same month and just take up like one's Monday, one's Tuesday, one's Wednesday. You know, so
It's true.
yeah, maybe it's the wrong mentality to treat them like video games and movies and stuff, where that's just a one time like
Yeah.
buy and you're committed to it.
Yeah, I feel like video games, it's a much more competitive market than it is to anime. Because anime, you can just watch, you have free leisure to watch whatever you want, but with video games, you're more dedicated to whatever you put into, just because it's a lot of hours, it's a lot
Yeah.
of time.
True. Yeah, because anime is like 20, 25 minutes at a time. Or
Mhm.
video games, you're sitting down and you're just committed to it however long you want to put into it. But I don't know, man. Like I want to know like the behind the scenes of like anime production and like what they have to like what's the strategy for like
Well, maybe we
working
can
around things like COVID, you know?
maybe we
Mm.
can talk about that in our new side show we're doing, Second Serving. Haha.
Mm.
Guys,
Shameless
sorry.
plug.
Hey, I don't care.
Sponsored by Second Serving.
Sponsored by.
So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up today's podcast real quick.
Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have anything else to cover, so stopping point it is.
Amen.
Yeah, so this has been another episode of Bowl of Men. If you want to jump in on the discussion about upcoming summer anime, if there's some that you're hyped for or you want us to watch to be ready for the next season that comes out,
Oh, of course.
or anything like that, hit us up, shoot us a message, let us know. You can reach us at Twitter at Bowl of Men. If you're not a social media kind of person like me, hit me up on our email, bowlofmen@gmail.com.
And don't forget, we're always taking suggestions. It doesn't have to be for whatever topic or whatever. Producer San over there is always willing to increase his repertoire of anime.
It's true. He already has a fat list, but
Yeah, making it fatter and
Make it
fatter
fatter and
every
fatter.
episode.
most definitely. But alrighty then, everybody. We'll catch y'all next time on Bowl of Men. Take it easy.
Later, y'all.